Hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Just kidding, I'm filming this at the nighttime. But hello everybody, my name is Mark Roden, and in today's video, we will be going over the top 10 most underrated JDM cars to ever grace the planet. Now, obviously, there are a lot of underrated JDM cars, and then on the same argument, you could very easily say that no car that's from the land of Japan is underrated anymore because Japanese cars in general are just getting overrated. So take it with a grain of salt, the whole word underrated in this. These are just cars that I think should be talked about more. That's all, okay? Cars that I love that I don't see enough other people loving. So you gotta like what I like, and if you don't like what I like, you're wrong. Without further ado, let's get right into the list with number 10. Coming in at the number 10 spot right off the bat, we're starting it off strong with the Honda Prelude 4th Gen. To be 100p with you boys, almost any Honda Prelude is pretty underrated in my genuine opinion, okay? But the 4th gen is like my favorite. I like it better than the 5th, the 3rd, the 2nd, and the 1st gen Preludes, and so that's why I put this one here, because the 5th gen does kind of get some love, and then the 3rd gen gets a lot of love because it had the all-wheel steering, and the 4th gen is just kind of there in the middle, like, hey, don't forget about me. It does come with a 2.2 liter inline 4, making 135 horsepower, and it is front-wheel drive. I heard that more powerful models like the SH or whatever, those came with a little bit more horsepower, but I couldn't find really much about it, so I just kind of put this one in here. But take that with a grain of salt, because there definitely is some faster 4th gen Preludes out there. But either way, it's a Honda, so just tune it, put a turbo on it, and you're going to be beating Lamborghinis and Bugattis all day, every day. Coming in at the number 9 spot to a theater near you is the Nissan Skyline GTR R33. That's right, there's 33 of these letter R's in it. Just kidding, there's only 2, the GTR and then the R33. But the GTR R33 is just like the 4th gen Prelude we talked about earlier, where it's like, it's the forgotten child. It's between the R34, which was incredible, and then it's between the R32, which was incredible. But the R33 was also incredible. It was an amazing, amazing car. It comes with a 2.6 liter twin turbo inline 6, making 276 horsepower, lots of sixes, and it's all-wheel drive, of course, because it's Godzilla. Now, if that motor sounds familiar, that's because it's an RB26 DET. It's the same motor that came in the R34 and the R32 GTRs as well, just pretty much exactly the same. It's actually, technically, if you take them both stock around the same track with the same driver, the R33 is actually technically a faster car than the R32. And I understand the looks of it, they're a little bulky and weird looking, but I like it, man. Coming into the number 8 spot is going to literally any Mazda Miata that isn't the NA Miata. So that's the NB, NC, or ND Miatas. All of them are just incredibly underrated. Most of them come with like inline 4. Actually, all of them come with inline 4s. I don't think no Miata has a V6, right? The ND does not. I think they're all with an inline 4, and they all make around like 130 to 180 maybe horsepower. They're all slow, but they are all rear wheel drive, which is definitely fun. But the whole thing about Miatas is, as we all know, they're meant to just be lightweight little roadster canyon carvers, and that's exactly what they do. But yes, did the Miata NA start it all? Yeah, and it deserves the praise it's getting. It's a cool car, but the NB, the NC, and the ND, I'm sorry to break the little bubble, kiddos, but are just better. They are just better than the NA in every way. I know people don't like to hear it, but it's the truth. And before, the NA used to be like cheaper, but nowadays they're flying up in price anyway. Coming into the number 7 spot is kind of like the Miatas that we just talked about before. Not a specific car, but kind of just a whole brand of cars, or line of cars, I should say. The Honda Accords, all of them. All the Honda Accords out there are just impeccable. Did you know that that's how you're supposed to say that word, by the way? Impeccable. I always thought it was like impeccable, but it's not. It's im with an M. Either way, the Honda Accords, obviously, again, with the Miatas, they're going to have differing engines depending on which generation you're talking about and which, trim level you get. But either way, they are just pretty much like, take a Civic, right? And then just make it a little bit bigger, with a little bit better, safety rating. And then that's an Accord. That's an Accord. On top of that, some Accords, most Accords actually, come with a V6 with a 6-speed manual transmission. You can't get that in Civics. Most Civics do not come with V6s. Actually, all Civics don't come with. There's not a single Civic out there with a V6. They're all inline 4s, and they all have a 5-speed if they do have a manual transmission. So it's like, why do people not like the Accords? Coming in the number 6 spot is a car that I've talked about on this channel quite a bit, and so a lot of you guys know about it, but I feel like the rest of the world still doesn't. The Mazda RX-7 FB. I feel like people don't even know this thing exists, let alone like actually like the car, because everybody talks about the FC RX-7, and obviously everybody talks about the FD RX-7, but they never bring up this car. Maybe the performance is to blame because the car is pretty slow. It only comes with a 1.1 liter two-rotor rotary engine, and it only makes 100 horsepower, but it is rear-wheel drive, and on top of that, it has, since it's an RX-7, it has a pretty large engine base, so meaning you can swap this thing with an LS if you want to, or you could put a freaking lawnmower motor in it if you want to. Pretty much anything will be faster than the motor that's in it. You know, put a freaking GoPro battery in it, and you're going to be going a little bit quicker than before, but either way, it has a big engine. You can fit anything you want in there, and on top of that, it looks cool. Okay, it's a retro style, the RX-7. I think it looks awesome. Coming into the number 5 spot is going to a car that I actually recently bashed, and a lot of people hated me for it, the Mitsubishi Starion. And the reason why I bashed the Starion, by the way, guys, is I just personally don't really care for the looks of it. I think it looks a little like weird. It looks like a Back to the Future type of car. I know it sounds stupid, but that's just how I thought about it. But its performance does speak for itself. Its legacy does speak for itself. It was a prominent Mitsubishi sports car. It came with a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4, making 197 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. I know that kind of surprised me too. I always thought these would be all-wheel drive just because Mitsubishi doesn't really make a lot of rear-wheel drive cars. As a matter of fact, I think this is like the only one I know of right now that they did make rear-wheel drive, but it was cool. There's obviously a couple generations of the Starion, but I'm talking about mostly about the newest one, the DSM one. But they're all just really cool. They were rally, dominant. They were really good in rally racing and stuff. They handle really well. And yeah, they look a little weird in my opinion, but I can get over that. Coming into the number 4 spot is a car that I freaking love. And if they weren't like 10K and I would have to import them, I would have one by now. The Toyota Soarer Z20. I feel like most people don't even know what Toyota Soarer is. Well, newsflash for you, buddy. The Lexus SC300 and SC430, those are just rebadged Toyota Soarers. Okay, and as a matter of fact, our SC300 and SC400s are actually worse than the ones in Japan. But the Soarer Z20 is the generation before that. It comes with a 2-liter inline-6, making 210 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. Its performance definitely isn't anything to write home to. It's not meant to be a fast car, though. It was meant to be like a mixture of like a sports luxury car. Like, think of like a BMW M6, okay? It was like meant to be something like that. A large car that was luxurious, but also sporty when you wanted it to be. And it did that pretty well. And on top of that, I think it looks freaking incredible. It has like very sharp edges, and it's very low and slanted like hoods and trunks and everything, and it's freaking gorgeous. Coming in 3rd place, however, we're gonna go back to Mitsu. The boys over at the Mitsubishi Galant VR4. The Galant VR4, in case you don't know its history, quick history lesson, this is pretty much the Evos before the Evos came out. That's right. It's pretty much the same thing, buddy. It comes with a slightly worse, or better if you, depending on who you ask, motor, a 2-liter twin turbocharged V6. I know it's VR4, it's weird, don't ask me. Making 240 horsepower, and it's all-wheel drive. Like I said before, this was the car that they used in rally racing from Mitsubishi before they came out with the Lancer Evolution. And the only reason why they came out with the Lancer Evolution isn't because the Galant wasn't doing good, but because Subaru did the Impreza WRX STI. Before that, it was Legacy versus Galant. And the Galant was pretty freaking nasty, especially the VR4 Galants. I mean, they only really did the VR4 Galants because they were the all-wheel drive ones, but still, it was a cool car, okay? Coming in 2nd place is a car that I get furious. I get fast and furious. Not really fast because I have a bone stock Acura Integra, but I get furious, guys, when I hear people badmouth it. The Honda Civic Type R EP3. This is the 7th generation Civic, but technically only the 2nd generation Civic Type R, because the first one would be the EK9, then this would be the 2nd. But either way, it comes with a 2-liter inline-4, making only 200 horsepower, and it is front-wheel drive. So I know what you're thinking, that's not that great, Mark, but it's a Honda. You can very easily make that better, and on top of that, the car handled really well, because it's a freaking Honda. They always nail their handling. And yeah, okay, I get it. It looks a little boring, but does it really? I mean, have you ever seen one of these like tastefully modded? When you do, it kind of clicks. And on top of that, yes, I get it. The shift knob is weird. It looks like a little dildos popping out of the center console. But that's okay. You can experiment. But in my opinion, the most underrated JDM car as of 2023 is without a doubt the Toyota Celica GT4s. We are going to be talking about the latest GT4, which is the 6th generation Celica. But they did have the GT4 in the 5th gen and even the 4th gen. So honestly, all of them are very underrated. But the newest one comes with a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4, making 200 horsepower, and it's all-wheel drive. Again, like we were talking about before with the Galant, this was a rally monster. This thing was freaking crazy, buddy. All-wheel drive, 200 horsepower, 2-liter turbo, inline-4. Hello. It was also really lightweight. It was easy to control. And this is kind of the reason why most people don't like the 7th gen Civic, because they made this banger of a car, and then we're just like, okay, we're never going to make the GT4 again. Sorry for any fans that liked it, but you're out of luck. And that kind of makes me annoyed, because imagine if they kept it going with the GT4s. Imagine if like the Evo, the Galant VR4, the WRX STI, the Legacy GT, and the Celica GT4 were all still like rivals. That would be so cool. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video. The top 10 most underrated JDM cars as of right now. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Let me know what other videos that you'd like to see in the comment section down below. Also, let me know, do you guys think doing a song of the day in the beginning, in the intro of my videos, is a good idea? I'm thinking so, man. I'm thinking I'm gonna put a song of the day in these videos, and just the songs that I've been listening to. I have a very vast music taste, you know, hip-hop, rap, country, rock and roll, pop. I like it all, so I'll throw it in there. You know, I don't like screamo. I don't like that stuff. That's a little too much for me. But like most stuff I like, you know. So I'm just gonna, you know, I'm gonna put in a song from now on that I've been listening to, that I'm enjoying at the start of my videos. I hope you guys are excited for that. It's only gonna take like 2 seconds. It's not gonna take up a lot of your time. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.